This is the future.
Side by side, you will clearly see the difference between the first Descendant and Warframe. The latter has more of a sci-fi alien shit aesthetic, while the former has humans with sci-fi powers. You won't see any resemblances in terms of the art and graphics design, but if you look closely, then you will see that the game is very similar when it comes to asset. Jokes aside, Warframe and First Descendant are very alike when it comes to the grind, and I think this is one of the main reasons why Warframe players are excited for the full release of the First Descendant. I am not saying all, as there are those loyal Warframe fans who hate to do another grindy games and would rather stay safe with Warframe, but there are players like me who enjoyed the particular grindy looter shooter games and would definitely embrace the new experience. Now, before we proceed to this video, I would just like to say something really important. First of all, I am in no way saying that the other game is better than the former. Warframe is better than the First Descendant right now when it comes to features, and you can't simply judge a very new game and compare it to a 10 years old game that is very successful in the free-to-play looter shooter genre of gaming. Warframe is still king in my opinion, and the First Descendant is miles away from the Warframe in terms of content and features. Also, I would like to address those people who are hating the First Descendant, saying that it will be another game is labeled Warframe killer and eventually die after a month. I don't know where the hate is coming from, as we don't really speak ill of Warframe and never compares the First Descendant better than Warframe. We are just simply trying to say to you guys that the First Descendant has the same grind mechanic as Warframe, and if you love what you are playing in Warframe right now, then you will love the First Descendant. Unless of course, you are so inclined with defending Warframe as the original game and Nexon just copied Warframe. Honestly, you have a point that Nexon might have copied Warframe, Destiny 2 and a bunch of other looter shooter games. But let me ask you this, what game is original right now? Like a game that we have never played before? There comes a time when there will be a generation-defining games, and literally, some other developers follow the same trend, and while they say that they are inspired of doing the same shit, it's literally just copying from others and giving their own ideas. Just take for example the Battle Royale genre. PUBG was the most popular to do it, and then Fortnite, and literally a lot of Battle Royale has been added over the course of a year. Also, some developers created something new, like a survival battle royale, but that's exactly what it is. It's still a battle royale game with a couple of new ideas. The same goes with the looter shooter genre. Past developers started it, and the Borderlands series is the most notable games for this genre. And then some other developers followed this route that lead us to games like Destiny 2 and Warframe. Instead of hating on it, might as well as try it because it's for free, and when you don't like it, then just dump it and return to the old game you are playing. That's my plan if the First Descendant will have some crazy next monetization, and I think that you should do the same instead of hating the game before it's even released. As a long-time Warframe player, I was invested on the second beta of the First Descendant because I had this feeling that this might be my second home. The game is exactly built just like Warframe when it comes to the grind, and I was able to know how things work in just a couple of hours. It's like when you play for the first time the First Descendant, then you are a long-time Warframe player. The first thing you will notice is it looks and feel like Destiny 2 when it comes to gameplay and gunplay. But, if you look at the loot system, how the loot are acquired, the modding system, and how you make your Descendant and weapons powerful, then you will exactly know what you will do next to increase the power level of your equipments, and how you can get it at the fastest time possible. The way Descendants are handled is the way that Warframes are also handled. They have 4 unique abilities with a passive. You can equip augment mods also to the Descendant to somehow create a new playstyle for your character. They also have melee stance, which also increases the capacity of how much modules you can equip into your Descendant. And also, they have the same upgrade system wherein you max rank your weapon and Descendant first, then you former them to increase the mod slot and equip more modules on it. In fact, the mods are very similar, like they have a combination of basic modules, then primed modules, and then corrupted modules, which has both positive and negative stats. The way you farm equipments and Descendants are really the same, and if you are familiar with the relic system of Warframe, then it would take a minute to understand how to get stuff in the First Descendant. Basically, amorphous materials in the First Descendants are relics in Warframe. You farm them in special operations, then you can crack them open in the Void Intercept. Now, this is where Warframe and the first Descendants differ though. While it's easy to crack open relics in Warframe, the first Descendant would require you to equip your hardest hitting Descendant and weapons to take down Void Intercept bosses. There are easy bosses, but other Descendants and weapons are in the loot table of those hard bosses that you will only kill if you have enough power level. The way that mini-bosses in the battlefield to progress through story missions are the same with Warframe. First you need to damage them hard, then they will enter an invulnerability phase which you need to damage orbs that are floating above their head before you can damage their health. Rinse and repeat until they're dead. Also, character design might be different in terms of the art form, but abilities wise, they are similar to Warframe's. You can spot the similarities of both Warframe and Descendants having 4 different abilities with 1 passive ability. Then, I don't know about you, but I think the way that they'll be releasing new Descendants will be the same as how Warframe release new Warframes and the Prime versions. The game also have a mastery rank system which also Warframe has. And in my opinion, it's like 80% of the game is copied from Warframe. The good thing though is that Warframe players are mostly loving the content of the first Descendant if we just forget the crazy monetization that Nexon implemented in their past games in the game. The game is actually fun as it gives you that satisfaction of gaining power for your character and using it to progress and kill big bosses. The boss fights are also amazing. The Void Intercept mission bosses are also one of the reasons that Warframe players love this game. It's like playing Warframe that has actual boss fights. Void Intercept bosses are not that hard, and it doesn't need you to play it for hours like the raid system in Destiny 2. All you need to do is jump into the Void Intercept mission, and damage the boss until it drops. There are some extra though, like breaking the limbs to stagger the boss, and other additional mechanics in the boss fights which makes it fun. The best part is, there's a time limit to every boss fight which makes it more challenging. So basically, everything you collect from the lower void bosses and as well as the stuff you get from the story missions and special operations will all be used to fight these colossus, and when you finally down that hard boss, it's so satisfying because it basically drops loot that increases your power, weapons that have better DPS, and modules that can change how you play your Descendants. Also, I almost forgot about upgrading and gathering materials, which is basically like Warframe. There's some sort of endo system to upgrade your modules, credits which is the basic monetary of the game, and other things which you can farm in the open areas to craft your weapon or Descendant. It's basically Warframe in a different dimension. I'm just crossing my fingers right now that the developer won't go crazy with the monetization and they will stay true to the free-to-play genre. In fact, there was one video when I say that if Nexon is truly copying Warframe, which is kind of obvious, then they should go all out and copy the monetization of Warframe. The game has been in the market for 10 years and while they don't have the best monetization, still, players consider is a fair enough to keep them playing and enjoying the game without actually forcing them to spend money like other looter shooter that forces their player base to buy content that they already bought. Overall, I'm really looking forward for the first Descendant, and these are just some of the few reasons why I love the game. If you like the game also, and want to share your experience, then let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.